So again, thank you, Elena, and the rest of the Petra staff for inviting me to give this talk on mentoring. This is a topic that is really special to me. When I was putting this talk together, I was thinking back and reflecting on my career path. And I can honestly say that I don't think that I would be where I am now if it wasn't for the wonderful mentors that I've had at different stages in my career. So hopefully for those of you who are relatively new to this concept of mentoring, you'll get as much out of it as I have over the years. So to start off, what exactly is mentorship? So according to Wikipedia, it's a relationship between two people where the individual with more experience, knowledge, and connections is able to pass along what they've learned to a more junior individual within a certain field. So there's two main tenets to a mentoring relationship. So the first is that it is a collaborative relationship. It's often a misconception on the part of the mentee that they can just walk into a mentoring relationship and say, all right, teach me everything that you know. It really is a bidirectional and collaborative relationship where both parties can benefit. And its goal and purpose is to help develop academic and career success and fulfillment on both ends. So what this means is that in order for a mentoring relationship to be successful, it requires time, energy, effort, and skills from both the mentor and the mentee. So just a couple of points to clarify. Oftentimes these terms of mentor, advisor, sponsor, coach, they're kind of used in an interchangeable fashion, but there's some distinct differences between these roles that I think is really important to point out. So first of that, mentors, within the mentorship relationship, like I said before, it's a mutually beneficial relationship. So the role of the mentor is to share knowledge and experience, but the mentor also stimulates reflection and self-assessment within the mentee. And that is different from an advisor, who's someone who can answer relationships, kind of similar to a mentor and give advice, but this is often more of an evaluative type of relationship. A sponsor is someone who can advocate on your behalf. So sponsorship is a relationship that can form over time. And a coach is really more of an instructional type of relationship. So this is a goal-oriented type of relationship, and a coach is someone who can assess the mentee based on their own external evaluation and can provide instruction towards improving their deficiencies. And so it's not to say that, these are all within certain silos and you can't cross over. Hopefully a good mentoring relationship can down the line lead to sponsorship, but it's important to understand that there are some specific differences between the two. So there's three components to a mentoring relationship. Obviously, there's the mentee, there's the mentor, and then there's the relationship itself. So there's definite benefits to being a mentee. And amongst those, you can hopefully, as a result of your mentorship relationship, gain support for your own personal growth. You can understand the academia world a little bit better. Hopefully you'll be able to understand yourself a little bit better, as well as understand your profession, and it can help to improve your own confidence. So as a mentee, prior to entering into a mentoring relationship, it is really important to take the time for self-reflection. And you want to ask yourself those probing questions like, who do I want to become? Take the time to think about what it is that you're currently doing that you enjoy. What are the things that you struggle with? What are the areas in which you want to improve and learn on? And it's also important to take the time to ask yourself, what is it exactly you're hoping to learn from your mentor? And this can be kind of a check all that apply type situation. So obviously in this program, as it's through Pedra, there's going to be a strong focus on research and scholarship. But what else are you hoping to gain from this relationship? Are you looking for guidance, career planning? Are you hoping that you can network with others within your field and that your mentor can connect you to people? Do you need help identifying which opportunities would be a good idea for you to pursue? So it's important to make a list of the things that you want to gain from this relationship prior to the start of meeting with your mentor. So qualities of a good mentee, and some of these were kind of briefly touched on. Well, to start off with, mentees need to be proactive. And really, as a mentee, you are assuming a lot of the responsibility for a majority of the scheduling and planning of many of the meetings. So in addition to being proactive, you want to be committed to expanding your own capabilities. You want to be clear about your goals, needs, and wants. You have to be willing to ask for help, show vulnerability, and be able to explore different perspectives. You have to be able to seek and accept feedback, and you have to be personally responsible as well as accountable, and you have to be able to put the time in. You have to be ready, willing, and able to meet on a regular basis. On the flip side, there's definite benefits to being a mentor as well. Being a mentor can help to build authentic relationships. It can help to further develop leadership as well as communication skills. It can allow for one to appreciate your own value that you can offer and allow for a chance to give back. So I really like this quote. The key to being a good mentor is to help people become more of who they already are, as opposed to not making them more like you. So qualities of a good mentor: you have to be a good listener, flexible, knowledgeable, non-judgmental. You have to be able to give constructive feedback in a way that the mentee is going to be able to really receive and accept. You have to be honest and open. You have to be able to network and find resources for your mentee, and you have to be willing to devote your time to developing others. So we talked a little bit about the roles that both the mentee and the mentor can play, but the third component in a mentoring relationship is the relationship itself. So within the relationship, it's important for both parties to be able to trust and respect one another, to remain steadfast in their commitment to the relationship, to engage in ongoing and effective communication, to share ideas and feedback, and to problem solve together. So I really like this diagram that shows the mentoring cycle because it visually demonstrates the reciprocity and bidirectional nature of mentoring. It highlights the mutual respect that's required. So that means respect for both the mentor and mentee's time, effort, and qualifications, the accountability on both ends to meet the expectations that are outlined early in the relationship, and the personal connection as well as shared values between the two individuals involved. So there's 4 steps in creating a successful mentor-mentee relationship. And the first step is initiation. The second phase is negotiation. The third is execution. And the fourth is closure. So in the initiation phase, this is where you are creating initial contact between yourself as well as your mentor. And it's important in this phase to get to know one another. You want to exchange some background information, tell each other a little bit about what got you to the point that you're currently at. And both of you want to be able to determine personal expectations of the relationship. Mentees, this is where it's important to refer to your self-assessment that you hopefully did before this meeting. You want to really let the mentor know what you are hoping to seek from them. You want to define desired outcomes, share some limitations that you may have, and discuss personal learning styles. The second phase of a successful mentoring relationship is the negotiation phase. And this should happen early on. It might even happen at that first meeting in the initiation phase. But this is really important to outline how much time can you commit and how often are you going to be able to meet. So it sounds like in this program, there's 3 specific points. You definitely want to be able to commit to that. You want to create goals that are in a SMART format, and we'll talk about that in a second. You want to agree on a discussion format. So it's always a good idea as a mentee or if you're in a mentee group to come to the meeting with a set agenda. And so you can determine how that is. Some people want really detailed outlines. They tend to work better line by line. Let's talk about this, this, this. Some people just want to have a general topic that they sort of discuss at the mentoring meetings, but really you should agree on a discussion format up front. You want to establish some ground rules, some basic things like confidentiality, talk about boundaries, what can you talk about, what can't you talk about. You want to together develop a strategy to evaluate progress, milestone goals. And it's important to really define what is your personal criteria for success and share that with your mentor and identify important deadlines that you need to meet. So I talked a little bit about setting goals, but putting them in a SMART format. So SMART goals are a way in which you can help to really put forth your ideas into actionable type of responses. So SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Whenever you're creating a goal, you want to be specific. So state what you want to do, use action words. It needs to be a measurable thing. So you have to be able to provide a way to evaluate, and you maybe use metrics or data points to help you do so. It should be achievable. So this means it should be within your scope. So within an area that you feel comfortable with, possible to accomplish within the time you have set forth. It needs to be relevant, so it should make sense within your position. It should align with the research question at hand, and time bound. You want to state a specific timeline from when you hope to get things done. So in the next phase, the execution phase, again, this is where a lot of the responsibility can fall on the mentee and should fall on the mentee. So it's your responsibility to help schedule meetings in advance. You want to set the agenda as well. You want to come prepared to meetings. You want to be able to complete progress reports, reassess needs, follow through on deadlines, request feedback, and keep a record of your development and progress. So I have actually found over the years that it's very helpful to have, I'm kind of old school, but I like to have a notebook, and I like to write down all of my notes and details from meetings within there. So that way I can go back and review them prior to the next meeting to make sure that I'm doing all the things that I'm supposed to do. I'm reflecting on my progress and making sure that I'm meeting my own personal expectations and holding up my end of that mentoring relationship. And then the last phase of the mentor-mentoring relationship is the closing phase. And this initially to me felt really sad because it sort of felt like, oh no, I'm shutting down this relationship forever. But it's actually a way of sort of being able to move forward and accomplish that next big thing that you want to do. So in the closing phase of your relationship, you want to look back on your journey together, celebrate your successes, review your accomplishments, ensure that your SMART goals have been fulfilled, and give and receive thanks for the experience. So a good mentor hopes that you will move on, but a great mentor knows that you will. So it's really important to be able to navigate successfully each stage of this mentoring relationship, which will then set the foundation for the next stage and thereafter. And it just puts into overall motion a process that is going to set you up for success. So for me, I've been very, very fortunate to be the recipient of great mentorship over the years. And so these are some of my people that I really think have kind of helped me sort of along my career path. Many of them are Pedra members. I'm sure some of you will look into this crowd and see that there are familiar faces like Alona Frieden, Kelly Cordero, Aaron Mathis, Renee Howard. Albert Ian was my mentor during that academic dermatology leadership program that Elena and I did together through the AAD. Jeremy Bordeaux is a Mohs surgeon within my department right now. Dr. Cooper is one of my chairs. And Marjorie Greenfield, she's actually an OBGYN at my institution. And so I think it's important to think about different ways in which you can be mentored and different people that you can turn to. It doesn't always have to be someone within your specialty. It doesn't always have to be someone within your institution. Sometimes the most fruitful mentorship relationships are those that are outside of sort of what's comfortable for you. And it's important to know that, it's not one person that can sort of give you everything that you're sort of looking for or really help to guide you. All of these people have been very instrumental in very, very different ways and have guided me on different things that are important to me overall as a person and my career path. So just wanted to give a shout out to my mentors, appreciate and give thanks for all that they've done. And these are my references. So I hope that was helpful. I'm happy to answer any questions if anyone has any.